Good morning. Welcome to Josh's Jumpstart. Today we want to talk about Superman versus Steve Urkel. Every sales rep or self-employed or entrepreneur person, they all have within themselves either the ability to be Superman or Superwoman or Steve Urkel. And when you think about those two people, who do you imagine? Okay, you imagine Superman standing strong, standing tall, being firm, or when you imagine Steve Urkel kind of hunched over, kind of knees bent, kind of almost wimpy-ish, right? Okay, you're kind of feeling wimpy. So here's the thing. Every single sales rep or self-employed individual every day, it's important that you start off the day just like Superman. Stand up tall, make your move, and feel powerful and important. So here's the thing though. The difference between these two individuals is as the day goes on, what will happen to a sales rep or a self-employed individual that doesn't control their thoughts? Okay? What will happen to their stature? They start off like Superman, but as time goes on, as they keep getting no after no after no after no, what starts to happen? Eventually, they go from the Superman and they slowly start crunching over and they start losing their enthusiasm, their momentum, and they just kind of look pathetic and they're sad and they're like, nobody will buy from me, nobody will say yes. And then you're knocking doors and you go up at the door and you're like, hi, will you buy from me, please? And who wants to buy from somebody like that? Okay, you got to think about it. Who would buy from somebody that looks like they've been told no repetitively for the last hour, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours? Is that exuding the confidence that you need as a sales rep or a self-employed individual that's like, wow, that person knows how to make things happen and that person is exuding confidence and success? Yes, I want to buy from them. No, okay? They look like Steve Urkel, they sound like Steve Urkel, and who wants to buy from Steve Urkel? Nobody, right? So today we want to talk about specific ways of how you can control your thoughts and not allow yourself to go down Steve Urkel so you can maintain that Superman composure all day long. You guys ready? You guys excited? You want to learn how you can keep that Superman composure all day long? Okay, let's go over that today. Number one thing is you got to know it's a numbers game. Okay? It is a numbers game. So I don't care if you're in sales, if you're self-employed, if you're a pro athlete, or if you're a musician, it is a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more no's you're going to get. And so it shouldn't be alarming or demotivating when you get a no. You need to know how many no's you're going to get. So one thing we do with our sales reps is we train them to how to keep track of the no's. Okay? So there's really only 3 things you should keep track of. Number 1 is the no's and the yeses and the CBs, the callbacks. Okay? Because think how many doors you're knocking on every single day, or making phone calls. Okay? It's inevitable. You're going to make phone calls, you're going to knock on doors, and are those always going to resort in a sale? No. But they need to have their own category over here of like NH, which stands for either not home or nothing happened. Okay? And so sometimes sales reps will get discouraged by this number. Like, oh, I knocked on 50 doors, but I only got 8 sales. Well, you shouldn't be keep counting the not homes or nothing happened or it's a vacant home or you talked to a kid or something like that. Are those no's? No, that's not a no. Okay, it's just nothing happened. So really, you should only be keeping track of the no's. Okay, how many people straight up said, no, I don't want to buy your product. No, I don't want to buy your service. No, thank you. Okay, that is a number that, yes, you should keep track of so you know. Okay, then you also keep track of the yeses. Okay, how many yeses are you getting every day? And then from here, callbacks. Okay, so let's talk about these three things. Because at the end of the day, when you know how many people told you no, and let's just say you had 30 people, okay? 30 people told you no, but you had 8 yeses, and let's say you had 4 callbacks, okay? Let's go over these numbers real quick, okay? Because you have to be able to control. You can only control what you can control. Can you control if people say yes or no to you? No, you can't control that. So what we've noticed in the past is sometimes the people, if they get no's, it kind of discourages them. And so the no's, they start off as Superman, okay, right? And then as they start getting no's, they lose all they get all discouraged and they're all depressed, okay? And they allow the not homes to, to discourage them as well. So let's start with the no's, okay? Let's break down the no's. So the no's, they fall into 3 categories, okay? Some people are going to say no because they're just the jerks, okay? So I like to put the no's into categories. I don't care what you're selling. I don't care what it is that you're doing for your business. There are jerks in the world. And we're not being mean. You're just notifying. If you haven't run into them, they're there. They're the trolls. They're the people that just want to be rude to you and they don't feel good about themselves, therefore they want to drag others down, okay? So I like to think there's 5, okay? So that when I go out and I knock doors or make phone calls, I know that, that way I'm not surprised when I run into a jerk. Like, holy cow, that guy was such a jerk. That lady was so rude. I just mark it off, like every day. Like, okay, that 1 down, 4 to go. I know that of the 30 no's I'm going to get every day, 5 of them are going to be jerks. That is powerful. If you anticipate the jerks, then you're almost like, haha, I found you. You're a jerk. Okay, here's the hint though, okay? Anytime you find a jerk, especially if you're knocking doors, it's weird how the universe does this. Knock on all the doors around them. Because I've found that when you find the rudest guy in the neighborhood, and I don't know why, it's like karma or destiny, everyone around them is like, they're such nice people. And it's like they feel bad for you at having to be running into, did you talk to Gary? Gary is such a rude guy. I'm so sorry. And it's like they'll almost buy just because he or she, whoever the person is so mean. So anticipate jerks are going to be there, number them, and then when you run into them, you're not surprised. Like, you're 1 of 5. And then the next one, 2 of 5. And then at the end of the day, you only run into 3 jerks. Woohoo! Maybe there was a lower proportion of jerks in that area, or maybe you're getting better at dealing with the jerks. So good job. So that's number 1. So that's jerks. Okay, number 2 is there's some people who are just going to say no to you. And I kind of feel bad for these people because maybe they're just going to say no even if it makes sense. Even if you're saving them money in a service they already have. They just want to say no to you, maybe because you have personality. Maybe because you're charismatic. Maybe because you're charming, you're engaging. And maybe you remind them of somebody that they knew maybe in high school or college or an old colleague. And you just look like you're successful. And they think if they help you out, it somehow makes them unsuccessful. And so people are just going to say no to you just to say no. They're not going to say jerks. They're just illogical, and they're just no people. Okay, they're just no. Okay. Number 3 people is some people are afraid of change. Okay. For both my door-to-door marketing company and my insurance business, I approach people and talk to them about switching to our service. It's a service they already have, but some people are afraid of change. Okay, afraid of change. So you still want to do your best to get the sale and present to them, but don't be ticked off. Some people are they're afraid of change. Literally, I've been with the same company for the last 42 years, and it's like they keep track of that. And I always thought, who keeps track of that? Who seriously has time to keep track of how long you've been with the same company? You do it with your wife or the company you work with, but a service you use on a monthly basis, You keep track of that? And some people do, and there's pride in that. And honestly, what I do is I just try to play a game and a mental game with myself, because if you can get those people, like, wow, that's awesome, and that's a feather in your hat. But just know that some people, they're afraid of change, okay? That's part of the no's, okay? Yeses, okay? You're always going to get the yeses. And it's important to keep track of that, because as you continue on your job, whatever you're doing, you should be noticing that the no's should be going down, the number of no's on a daily basis, and the yeses should be going up, okay? What's happening? Why does that happen? Because you're getting better. You're getting better. You're improving. Someone once said, that with which we persist becomes easier. Not that the nature of the thing has changed, but our ability to do has increased. So pay attention, because the no's should be going down and the yeses should be going up. And here's the thing too, with your callbacks, okay? You got to turn no's into callbacks and callbacks into yeses. Now, how do you do that? So somebody says, no, I don't want your service. And then, so this is what I say. Like, you know what? It sounds like I got you at a bad time. And they'll say, yeah, it's a bad time. And I'll say, you know what? This is a really good product or service you guys need. I'm going to be out till 9 o'clock. Because here's the thing. If you're knocking doors or you're making phone calls, they think that you probably stop at 5 o'clock. You know what? Today's a bad day. Will you come back next week? So here's the thing. Let them know. I always tell people on the doors, if I'm knocking doors, hey, you know what? I'm going to be out till 9 o'clock. I don't have a life. I'm going to be here. And you know what? So when can I come back later on? What did I do? I just turned a no into a callback. How did I do that? Because I educated them to let them know I'm knocking doors until 9 o'clock at night. Or I'm making phone calls until 9 o'clock at night. Whatever it is, let them know that you can come back later on. Because they think this is the only time that you can buy. You know what? This is the only time. This is it. If you don't buy right now, I'm never coming back. Let them know it's okay. You can come back. So let them know that you can come back. That's powerful. Number 2 thing to help out with that is customers always think in terms of days and weeks. Okay? Write that down. Customers think in terms of days and weeks. But successful salespeople and self-employed people, they think in terms of minutes and hours. Okay? So when the customer says, you know what, can you come back on Friday? Or can you call me next week? You know, and say, you know what, that makes sense. And then let them know, I'm going to be out until 9 o'clock tonight. I can just come back later on. When's a good time for you? So that's powerful. So that's number 2 thing. Number 3 thing is a lot of times when they're telling you no, there could be a distraction at the door. So if they're holding on to their dog and the dog's like, or like they're holding the baby and the baby's like crying, whatever, I'll ask them, like, hey, you know what? Do you want to come outside into my office? And I literally treat the front porch, the patio, as if it's my office. And so they'll come out, and then we can talk. Because a lot of times they're saying no because they're not listening to you. Why are they not listening to you? Not because they're trying to be rude. It's because there is some concerns going on right in there, right then. Either on the phone, or in their office, or in their house. Something's happening. Find out what it is, identify it, acknowledge it, and then give them a solution. Because their solution is, why don't you come back next week? But what's going to happen next week? Think about it. They're still going to have their dog. They're still going to have their kid. The phone's still going to ring. There's still going to be something going on. So, and then they're just going to tell you no at that point because they don't find you coming back. So just acknowledge what's going on, what's the distraction, and solve it. Hey, you know what? Your dog looks like it's really angry. Would it be easier if we stepped outside? Or you got a cute baby. Do you want me to hold your baby? Be careful with that one. You don't want to creep anybody out. You know, but just identify. If somebody's on the phone, they'll come to the door like, hey, sorry, I'm on the phone. It's like, it's okay, I'll wait. Oh, what'd you just do? You just took that problem of, oh, I'm on the phone. It's okay, it'll be quick. And sometimes I'll just keep talking and they'll be like, you know what, Joan, I'll call you back. And who knows if Joan was even on the phone or not, okay? Okay, she hands it down, and then you go and you give the talk. These are some specific techniques of how you can turn no's into callbacks. Okay, here's two more for you. I think you're talking to a spouse, and the spouse like, you know what, it sounds really good, but I have to talk to my spouse. Can you come back tomorrow or Friday or next week? Because again, they're thinking in their mind it's next week. Okay, customers think in terms of days and weeks. Successful salespeople and self-employed professionals, they think in terms of minutes and hours. You know what? That's not a problem. Your husband will probably have some good ideas that you and I didn't think about, or maybe it's your wife. You know what? Your wife probably has some good questions you and I didn't think about going over. It'd be fun to talk to her as well. When will she be home? I'll be coming around the area, and they'll say, oh, I don't want you to come back and make a special trip. You're like, I'm not making a special trip. This is all I do. I go up and down these roads. I knock on doors all day long. I have no life. This is all I do. I go up and down the street and I knock on doors. I'm going to be here anyway, so don't feel bad. I'm literally going to be coming down here. Actually, Sarah across the street, she's switching over as well. We got to come back and talk to her husband, answer some questions for him. I'm actually coming. Here's a tip for you too. Set callbacks late in the evening. Okay, this is my hint. This is my bonus training. Okay, because why do you set trainings and callbacks? Sorry, why do you do callbacks late in the evening? Because at 8:30, 8:45, 9 o'clock at night, it may be tough to knock on a virgin door. Okay, that may be tough. It may tick some people off. But what I do instead is I set my callbacks for 9 o'clock. Ah, genius. See, because that way I can get my full day's worth. I can knock on all my virgin doors, the door I've knocked on, up to 9 o'clock or 8:45, and then I get those 2 or 3 people that, you know what, I want to do it, but I have to talk to my husband. I have to talk to my wife, or I'm right in the middle of dinner, whatever it is. So set your callbacks for late in the evening. That's how you get a couple extra sales a day. Because if you think about it, whatever you're selling, if you're getting 8 or 7, 8, 9 sales a day, but what if you set all of your callbacks for the end of the night? Imagine what would happen if you just got 1 or 2 or 3 sales a day extra every single day of the summer. What would happen? What would happen? You think about that. Think about your company, think about your paycheck. What would happen if you were able to not do callbacks during the prime hours of 6 to 9 every night? No. You set your callbacks for the very, very end. Now, if there's only way they can only do it, you know what, we're leaving out of town, you got to be here at 7 o'clock, then find that out. Okay, then do that. Another thing too that I'll do, here's a trick for you, is when I'm knocking doors, I'll ask them, you know, if it's a husband or wife, and they'll say, you know what, my husband's here, we're gonna be gone, you gotta talk to him when he gets here. Instead of just coming back, I'll ask him, okay, well, what kind of car does he drive? So when I see it in the driveway, I'll know that he's here and I'll stop by. Be careful with this, because I've seen some reps asking, and they do it like in a creepy way. So don't sound creepy. Just like, hey, cool. What kind of car does he drive? So like when I see it, I'll just know, oh, sweet, he's home or whatever. You know what I mean? So don't make it creepy. Be sure and sound genuine and sincere. And cool. So he's got like a big black truck. Okay, cool. Big black truck's here. They don't know he's here. I'll come back and talk to him. Okay? That will save you lots of time. Effectively working at your time. Okay? Are you liking these tips? Are these helpful for you to help you turn no's into callbacks? Because the better you are at implementing them and applying them today in your office, in your area, in your sales and professional career, the more sales you'll make. These are how you turn no's into callbacks. And then also turning callbacks into yeses. Let's go over that one real quick, okay? Callbacks into yeses. So somebody says, hey, you know what? I like it. I just need to talk to my spouse. So what I'll say is like, okay, that makes sense. We don't want you to end up on the couch for, you know, buying something obviously is very important to you, like saving money or protecting your home or whatever it is that you're selling. Like you need, you know, make it sound like almost silly, not making fun of them, but kind of making fun of them. Like, okay, I don't want you to end up on the couch for doing something that your spouse wouldn't like, you know, and like, well, okay, and then say, okay, let's assume. So what you do is you take this and let's assume that your spouse likes this. Why would they like it? Listen to what just happened. Because their concern is the spouse, so if you just take that and you spin it around and you tell them, assume that, hey, let's assume that your spouse would like this, okay? What would they like about it? and then they tell you. Okay, why is that powerful? Think to that and write that down. Why is that powerful? Why is it powerful to have the customer who just gave you a concern, for you to acknowledge a concern and then just say, you know what, let's assume that your husband or your wife's going to like this. Why would they like that? What value would they see? And then the customer then proceeds to tell you all of the reasons why they would like this service. And what are they doing? Now, genius, the customer is selling you on why they think their spouse would like this product or the service that you're selling. Bingo. Did a huge light bulb, bing, just go up off your head? Genius. This is amazing. I'm going to get so many sales today, okay? That is huge, 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 okay? Think about that. Awesome. I'm loving this training. You guys loving this? Is this good stuff? Are you guys like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is life-changing material. Because it is, okay? Yes, woohoo! Okay, so awesome, awesome things. That's how you turn callbacks into yeses. Another thing too is help them see, because a lot of times when you present to customers, they think it's into this long, drawn out process. And what I've learned is you have to be able to adapt your approach and do your whole pitch, your whole presentation, your whole conversation, right? Conversation. You gotta go do it quick and help them see, you know what? This isn't gonna take much time. We don't have to go in your house. And then you turn sideways and you do the buddy stance and you show them all the things real quick. And depending on what it is that you're selling, if you can do it on the doorstep and not go into their home, then hurry and do it real quick and show them it's simple, it's easy, it's a no-brainer. And here's a trick. You want to use a trick? Here's another bonus thing. Name drop their neighbors. Name drop the last sales you've got today, yesterday, the day before. You name drop what's called bandwagoning, okay? Get them a bandwagon. Let them know that everybody else is doing that. And that way they're not like, oh, really? I'm not the only sucker doing it, okay? Don't ever underestimate the power of bandwagon. But more importantly, or I guess just as important, is show them it's really quick. You know what, this isn't going to take very long, and you show them and you go over it real fast. Hey, you know what, this will just take a second. And you go over it real quick, and you got to be able to do your pitch. Every single person on the planet, doesn't matter what you're selling, you need to be able to do your pitch in under 60 seconds. You got to find a way to get people's attention. It's called your elevator pitch. How do you get people's opinion, whatever? You do your pitch really, really quick. And this takes some practice. So here's, I guess, another bonus training. Write down all the benefits. What are all the benefits that people would benefit from buying your product or service? You need to be able to rattle those off as quick as possible. You know what? You're going to be able to save this. Your life will be easier. Your house will be more efficient. Your business will be more efficient. You got to be able to rattle every single benefit that they will be able to receive at a drop of a hat. And some customers are nice. They may even say to you, you know what, I'm happy with my service. Why should I switch to you? And sometimes they'll actually be nice. They'll ask, they're like, why should I switch to you? And then you've got to be able to say, I'm glad you asked. Boom, 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 boom. And you just rattle off all of those. So that's a piece of homework I have for you is, what are the 10 reasons that anybody on the planet should switch to you today? There's 10, okay? 10 reasons. You need to be able to identify what all the 10 are, and you be able to rattle those off easily, quickly, so that anyone on the planet, they ask you, I'm happy with my service. Why should I switch to you? Or, I don't see a need to buy your product. Why should I buy it? You need to have 10 powerful benefits, not features. Features just explain something, okay? Features tell, benefits sell. A feature is just something that explains about the product or the service. A benefit is how will it directly benefit their life, okay? So if you're selling insurance, you just say, hey, you know what? You have $25,000 per person, $50,000 per accident. With us, it's $50,000 per person, $100,000 per accident. So the number is bigger. And for me, that's a feature. A benefit, it's kind of a joke, but I'll explain to my customers like, hey, because we have twice as much coverage, you can hit twice as many people. And it's kind of a joke. But then we say, hey, don't hit anybody. But literally, it lets them see that our check will now be 2 times greater than it was before. So whatever it is that you're selling to, help them see the exact benefits. How would their life specifically be more beneficial because of your product or your service. Huge, huge benefits. Okay? Very last thing is, I don't care what it is that you're selling, which product or which service it is, there is always, it always seems to be a productive time of the day. Okay, so write this down. Productive time. Okay, productive time. Okay, so think to yourself right now, when is your most productive time? Okay, for a lot of times, the sales reps are out knocking doors. A lot of times it's 5 to 9. Okay, those last 4 hours, those are the magic hours. Okay, so that's where most beneficial time is. Okay, that's awesome. But, so you may be thinking, but why do we have to knock from noon to 5? Why? What is the purpose? What is the reason? Okay, and I'm going to erase this and go over this. Okay, because this next part here, this is powerful things, because you need to know this. Why do we even do this? So, okay, why? Why do we knock from noon or 11, whatever time it is, to 5 o'clock? What's the purpose? So go ahead with your notebook at home, be writing down the reasons, because you need to know right now, what are the reasons we knock? Why do we do that? If this is the most productive time, why do we even knock doors in the other times? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So number one is you have to get the no's out of the way. Okay, are there going to be no's in your area? Yeah, there's going to be no's. So do you want to find those no's that are going to say no to you regardless? Do you want to waste your time between 5 and 9 with the no people? I don't. So number one is get the no's out of the way. You got to identify them, okay? Number two is get the NHs, okay? NHs are, they're not home. Maybe it's a vacant house. Nobody lives there. Maybe this is happening because somebody's house sitting and it's the grandma and she can't buy anything, the product or service, and the people are going to be gone for the next 2 weeks, okay? So that's a NH as well. Or it could be a babysitter there and the parents are gone all day. Whatever it is, there's people that are not home. It could be, I think I already said, like a vacant home or a home for sale, or maybe it's a tenant and they're renting and they can't do that. There's also those homes it's like a group home, okay? They can't buy, it's a business. You have to identify where all the no's are and where all the not homes are. But by keeping track of these, if you already know you're going to get the no's, you're going to get the jerks, people that are afraid of change, people that just were never going to say no to you on the door, never going to say yes to you on the door. If you already know that you're going to get those 30 no's, should that discourage you from being successful today if you already know those no's are going to happen? The answer is no. It shouldn't frustrate you or discourage you in any way, shape, or form, because you already know that they're happening. And then just keep track of them, okay? Keep track of the jerks and they're afraid of change and the no's. Keep track of them. And then when you see them, like, okay, boom, you're just checking off the list. Sweet, I found you. 1 jerk, 4 to go, okay? Or people that are scared of change or scared of buying things, or they're just not going to buy on the doors. You shouldn't be freaked out when you get that, okay? And then all the not homes, and then let's see, what else? What's another reason why do we do this, okay? And go ahead, if you're listening at home, shout out an answer. Why do we do this, okay? Get no's, not home. You think about it as well, there's some people that are going to be the callbacks, okay? The callbacks. It's going to be a husband at home, and he likes it. He's glad you came by, but man, he will end up on the couch if he does something without talking to his woman. Or vice versa. You can talk to a stay-at-home mom, and she's like, this is awesome, I love it. We don't do anything without talking to my husband. And so, is that a waste of your time? Heck no! You got to be able to get the callbacks. So, that's fine. You're setting the stage. You're making this time from 5 to 9 more efficient, more productive, because you're setting up your callbacks. But then also, you got to think about it. Number 4, number 5 reason. Why do you do that? Because number 4 is you're going to get the seniors, okay? Senior citizens, the retired folk. And they're either going to be a yes or a no. Here's a trick. Don't tell yourself that just because they're a senior citizen that all they're probably going to say, I'm with the same company for 47 years. If you tell yourself that, are you going to get the sale? No, you're not going to get the sale because you already told yourself you're not going to get the sale. Because you already said, oh, they're old, they're stuck in their ways, they're not going to want to buy because they're going to say I've been with the same company for 47 years. Don't think that way, okay? You got to have an open mind and think, you know what? These senior citizens are going to be so glad that I came by to offer my product or my service, and they're going to be glad I came by. So, senior citizens, it's going to either be a smiley face or a sad face. And you got to figure out, I might as well figure out those during the day because they're home. Last is number 5 is the mommies. Okay? A good chunk of our sales in the door-to-door sales world, and even in my insurance business, is spent with moms, stay-at-home moms, because they're taking care of the kids, they're taking care of the household, and guess what? They're home with the chillins. And so, find the moms at home. When I go to a neighborhood and I knock between after our meetings and 5 o'clock, I spend that time, I teach my sales reps, it's called cherry picking, okay? What do you mean cherry picking, Josh? You're skipping over homes? Like, no, I'm just saving them. I don't skip them, I save them, okay? And when I go down the street, I see, oh, that door's open. There's a minivan there. I'll bet it's a mommy. Oh, I'm gonna go and I talk to her and I get a sale. And then I go across the street, I see another minivan in the driveway and that garage door's open. I go over there and I get a sale. Because they're great people to talk to from noon to 5 or 11 to 5, whatever the hours are that you're knocking. Great time to be getting sales. That is why we go out and we knock these times, okay? And here's the trick. Every single summer, we've always had sales reps that get discouraged because it's 6 o'clock and they only have 1 sale or 2 sales. And I was like, okay, are you feeling like Superman? Or are you feeling like Steve Urkel? And they're like, I feel like Steve Urkel. I was like, okay, you gotta shake that off. Don't let the no's and the not homes be your kryptonite. You gotta stand tall and be, I am Superman, because you know you gotta be able to hit reset and just say, you know what? 5 to 9, that's when I need to have my A game on, because that's when people are gonna buy from me. That's when people are gonna be home. My most productive time of the day to get people home and to buy my product and buy my service is what time? It's from 5 to 9. So you can't allow yourself to go from Superman to Steve Urkel and just be all depressed and worried, because are you gonna be able to have the energy that you need during the most productive time of 5 to 9 if you allow the no's to be your kryptonite? Don't let the no's and the not homes and the preparing for the prime time, don't let those get you down, okay? You're better than that. I believe in you. I've given you guys lots of information, probably information overload. So I'm going to upload this and you guys will be able to watch this over and over again, because these principles are the strategies of success. And I promise you that as you learn them and repeat them and apply them in your day today, your office today, you will have a lot more sales. Thank you very much. I appreciate you watching. This has been Josh's Jumpstart, helping you accelerate your achievement. Tune in next time. Thanks.